welcome back. It's like the 24th of October, 2024. And I haven't seen you in a while. I don't think I ever put up a video of the kids' fair this year, or a lot of things. And some of you might wonder, some of you might not care at all. But I thought about it and mentioned something about having some goats to somebody at work, and I haven't told anybody at work about this, and I figured I'd give you an update on where we're at. I have 6 goats. This is it. So we got Mango and maybe Maple, and then we got Belle, and I don't remember what their names are. Basically, the only thing we've got is 1, 2, 3, 4. We've got 4 goats that we used as 4-H goats a couple of years ago, including Shayna's friend Corey. Her kids showed a couple. So we've got a couple that came from like One Horn and Crazy. Bigger, older school, bigger, just fuller bodied, heavier framed goats. And then we've got Mango, which was Peach's girl. And that mapley looking one, I don't remember who she's out of, but we still got Phoebe. And God, I can't even remember their names today. I don't know. I've already been at work today. Anyway, these are the only 6 that we have bred, because this is what Rebel's pen looks like. We sold Rebel a month or so ago. It was a previous customer. So previous customer had a between him and his daughter, had one of our other bucks. I think it was Freak Show, actually. But anyway, they have Freak Show, I think, at her place, and then up at his place is where they've got Rebel. And they're crossing, like the boar was kind of brought in to do. They're using the boar to put meat onto some of their Spanish goats. So anyway, this is what you got. And I would say we're probably month and a half from babies. Probably sometime, could be sooner than later. Actually, it could be here in November, which is only a few days away. We haven't caught much rain around here. We've got giant cracks in the ground. Every time we get a rain, it goes around us. But that's a big aspect in why we've kind of done some things. The goat market for us, we probably lost, I don't know, 60% of the value. So with the economy getting the way it was for most of us, John Q, Publix, things got a little tighter. So it was a little tougher to come up with feed money, and around here with the drought, we used to get a little bit of prairie hay, some things like that could help stretch our alfalfa, and some things like that if I'd help put up the hay. But with the drought, they've needed all the hay plus some, so we've had to buy all of our stuff. So between grain and having to buy all of our hay and the market, I mean, guys, we're talking, let's just say 100% doe, registered doeling, that was a little over a year old. Year to year and a half. We like to breed ours at a year and a half personally, but somewhere in there, reproductively untouched, nice and clean, structurally, $800, $1,200, would probably catch most of them. And you couldn't get stuff sold for half of that this year. We sold a couple older mature does, or a couple of them. We tried we had to move some stuff at like $300 with registrations. We were just trying to cover some bills and some stuff like that. But the nice thing is, those goats that you've seen, yes, they're pregnant. They've had nothing but alfalfa since kidding last year. So not quite a year ago. They have not had more than 3 pounds of grain a piece, probably, since they weaned babies, if they kidded last year. So yeah, we finally got some genetics to where they'll hold their own, which also kind of makes me irritated that could I have really not been feeding them all the grain that I was feeding them, even though I wasn't pounding the pounds to them. More fence that needs repaired. I mean, it's a buck. Or you see the flatness of the gate. We're gonna go through here, and if you've been here for more than a minute, you know that somehow I always say I'm gonna clean this kidding shed early, and I put it off. Well, we kept goats in here quite a while this year, and we had it pretty well cleaned out towards the end, and so there's not a ton in here. It should come up pretty easy. It's not going to be like cutting 6-inch brownies or 8-inch brownies out of it. But with the wind, so this door this way is west, so we had some westerly winds. We just put a post behind here and wired up. We had closed it because it was going to storm, or the one chance we had at a storm. And Shayna, in this window, seen a cat face a couple days later. And anyway, so I told her, she texted me, and I said, yeah, that's the door's shut. I ran out here, and I need to staple my tarp back up. There was kittens in our tack pen, and so the kids cleaned it out and obviously got in their business, and Mama moved them, and we haven't seen them again. So anyway, we got that going on. Yeah, they made them a little, I don't know, now it's probably just a place for rats to come. But anyway, this is what happens. So this has been closed up. General probably looks better on camera than it does in person, but just the random stuff that comes out of the tack pen. The tank needs pressure washed and cleaned out. You know, pin. Basically what I do is I come in here with my shop vac and I clean all the cobwebs off. Now the big thing is, like over here, the goats were standing on a hay feeder and eating my insulation. I don't know. And like down there, look at all that. You can see that daylight. So I don't know. I got to get something done. Got to get this cleaned up soon. I've got some lights, cheap connectable lights from Menards. That's going to replace these that I bought at Home Depot a number of years ago. And I guess they've served their purpose, but a bunch of the LEDs are burned out in them. So anyway, got to get this cleaned out. But we only have to set up 6 pins, so realistically most of them can stay. Walk over here since the girls are behind the shed. So these are 3 of the 4 goats shown for 4-H this year. So this was Wyatt's goat, and that I believe is one of Phoebe's girls, if you can tell. She's a little beefcake. And then these 2, I don't remember actually if I could see their tags. So 2 and okay, so the middle one I think was Macy's goat, number 10 maybe, and number 2 I think we sent with Corey. We sent 2 with Corey to their fair. Sorry, I'm gonna close the gate. We sent a couple with Corey to their fair, and they kind of halter break them, but we ended up letting 1 go, just trying to keep the numbers down to where we could try to sustain. So the other big thing that has changed, as you can see, we've just got 2 vehicles sitting here. Back in July, after, I don't know, let's just round it to a number. We're going to say 6 years, or crop seasons, or maybe it wasn't fully that much, 5.5, whatever it was. I left my job with Farmers National Company. Spent most of the time in my office in the basement. Salary position, which was nice in a lot of cases. You had some freedom, work from home, make sure you get your stuff done, keep your clients good to go, everything for them, keep them happy with any questions. but the problem is it wasn't enough like outside work for me. Yeah, we'd go do farm visits and stuff, but that was a few times a season. You were so busy just in paperwork 90% of the time that you didn't get to go out and talk to guys at the co-op. I'm the type of person I'd just as soon go out and order my inputs in person, talk through things so things weren't forgotten, anything they would bring up, that kind of stuff. And so it really weighed on me. Big stress eater. So you're at home, you're stress eating, not sleeping because I would work. It's funny, all these companies, they send out emails like, watch for emails after hours. It could be spam or malicious stuff. The problem is if you got an email from Brandon anywhere from the hours of 9 or 10 p.m. until the next working day, it was legitimate. I would commonly go downstairs and work from 9 or 10 p.m. till midnight, 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning. Maybe I'd come up and get an hour of sleep some nights. But you could never get everything done. And that weighed on me. Me and Shannon went through a list, checked a lot of depression things off. No 988 suicide hotline or whatever it is. None of that, but just really, you want to see the goats. Really just weighed on me. And so I just needed to make a change. Took a pretty good pay cut, like a pretty good pay cut. But I'm working at Duncan Aviation now. Our friend Bo, his wife Jade and Shayna, and the other friend Jess that I mentioned, the other ones that raise goats at County Line Show Goats. They all get together, our kids all play together and stuff. So I'm actually working on Bo's team on the second shift weekend crew. And so I'm working on mainly Bombardier, Challengers, a couple Globals, but that's mainly what I've touched. And I actually just passed my 90 days there. We just had a 90-day new employee orientation follow-up meeting today. I went in and picked up some overtime. So far, really liking that. Catching on okay. I would obviously like to catch on faster. I have 0 aviation experience. And then starting in February, as long as I don't wrap my truck around a tree and die one day, I will be in their apprentice program, which will start me on let's just call it a 2-year process. Company paid to get my airframe certificate. I think if I wanted my power plant, you'll hear people say A&P license or certification. Power plant, to do it this way, I would have to get some on-the-job experience or OJE through the power plant engine side. Don't know that I'm interested. I don't know if I'm not interested, but to know that they're separate, I don't know if I'm gonna bother trying to get both right now, or I don't know, whatever happens. So anyway, that's kind of the plan as of now. A good thing is, I work like 10 to 10 a lot of days. That's what my shift is supposed to be. I'll pick up some extra hours. I will pick up some extra days, but I'm kind of free to choose that. I'm just required to work X amount of hours for my shift. So I have the ability to make up some of that lost pay in the change. But once I have my certificate, I'll actually have the opportunity to prove myself and work up a pay scale also. So I did get a little bit of a bump when I hit my 90 days here. And it's a little bit different because I'm almost 37 now, making this change in jobs. And you still feel like you're an 18-year-old walking in and everybody's more experienced and older than you, but realistically, I'm sometimes 10 or 15 years older than some of the guys I'm working with. And then I've got some guys that are a couple or 2 to 10 or 15 years older than I am. So a big age range around, but neighbor Charles is taking this payloader out. So anyway, that's kind of what I've been doing the last 90 days and the change we've kind of made. And a lot of that goes into that change. You know, we decided to slow down on the goats. So, you know, as far as like future sales of things, you know, I've got 2 kids that are actual 4-H'ers now, you know, 1 to 2 years into it. And then another one's a Clover kid. I think he's got, his birthday lands to where I think he's got to be a Clover kid one more time here in 2025. Number 4, she will get to be a Clover kid maybe this upcoming year. We'll have to check on her. I don't know if her birthday is on the wrong side of things. So, I mean, I'm going to get to a point where I'm going to have a certain amount of goats just to have enough babies for my kids to pick from. And we're limited by facilities, and I've mentioned that, or, you know, felt that the whole time. We're limited in space and resources. Trying to run it from scratch on the edge of our yard, essentially. Trying to raise a family off a single income. We homeschool the kids, and Shannon stays home with them, obviously having 5. That's the better economical thing. So yeah, I mean, trying to support the family and goats and all the chickens running around. They need a new coop, a bigger coop. So you do that with a pay cut to work towards a life improvement, better long-term opportunity. And this is going to struggle. So yeah, if we get around to it, you're not going to have, you know, say 10 or 12 or 15 kidding videos. You'll have 6. Hopefully we can make sure that we catch them all. I know this last year was brutal. We would get out there and they'd have already dropped them, or in the time we seen them on video, they had just dropped the baby, and we didn't get it, or didn't get enough clips to post it, or fat finger the button and you're recording and not recording again all at the same time, so you think you got something. So other than that, yeah, really the main things learned from all of this is once you get your genetics to where you want them, or you know you've improved to a point, healthy, good genetics will raise themselves. You're not going to feed a goat into being a better goat. You can kind of make them look like a better goat with some weight. We all do that. If you put a little bit of weight on them, they bulk out a little bit. But a good genetic, just with alfalfa, they're going to carry their frame well. So happy with that. And actually with this change, since we had not been feeding them and only been feeding those 3 goats, I actually had the last few bags worth of grain in the bin start to go bad. So I'm actually gonna have to throw some away before we reload. Come to think of it, one other thing we haven't done, and I can see from her hoof, is they should, I don't know if I want to do it now, but they should all get run through the chute and hooves trimmed again, because once you get them to that point to get them in to start having babies, you gotta wait until after they've almost been weaned or later on to get in on those hooves, and then they turn nasty. But luckily for me, there's only 6 of them. But yep, that's just the update. This upcoming, I've got to work the next few days, but I'll be like tearing this tree down before it kills some goat. You know, that's just what I need. Cleaning up this wood, cleaning up the shed over here. I've been kind of waiting because the tractor, I had to take it in. I ran a big locust tree needle through a front tire apparently, and it went flat, punctured the tube. Took it in to have it fixed, put it on the tractor. It sat for a couple days, it was flat again. So apparently it didn't get fixed for $40 some. Probably have to put a new tube in it. Outside of that, just trying to survive. Just watching all the crazy chickens. Here, I'm gonna flip you around and show you the chaos I see when I walk in every day. So that is the old goat shed that I built for Circus back when we had him. That was meant to basically house one big buck. Well, it's kind of got some chickens in it. It's got one of our goat pens. Got one of our goat pens in front of it. And this is kind of Wyatt and Macy and the kids thing. I used a dog kennel and threw some tin on it for a roof. They're connected, kinda, and then I throw tarps around it to keep the wind off the chickens. Now we've got these little silkies. We're pretty sure they're silkies. They were given to us by the guy that bought Rebel. But they're just wandering. I was hoping it would rain and wash those tarps off, but apparently we don't get rain here anymore. That's safe for areas that shouldn't get rain and flooded. So yeah, we just pumpkins and chickens and all the things. So yep, we can't burn anything here, but yep, this is my chaos. I guess to finish up, if you guys have got any questions, go ahead and throw them down in the comments. Or if you'd like to know something going on with us having a ton of goats, it's always kind of been hard to come up with content because I'm not always buying stuff for the goats because I can't afford it. I can't go out and buy a bunch of new hay feeders and then give you reviews just for the sake of it. I gotta have one break and then I can buy something, hopefully, and then I can tell you about it. But as of right now, I just use the same, Durafirm Conceptaid goat mineral. I'm using the same Central Plains Million Goat 365 mix we've been using. It's altered goat 365. So yeah, I guess I do owe you guys a feed video. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I'll sit down and make you a feed video of how we fed things. I don't know. A lot of you have asked. I'll figure it out. It'll probably be boring and low production quality. That's what you can expect here. Boring and low production quality. So anyway, we'll check in with you later.